Well, hey, dosers, how's it 2025 already? Are you ready for it? Can you believe 2024 is over? Some of you, you're happy. You're like, I need a new year. Others, you may be thinking, that was the fastest year yet. That's how I felt, maybe because it's with 4 kiddos in our station of life, but 2024 is over, and here comes 2025. And every year, as we start the new year, I want to reflect on what was it like last year? Where areas did God show up? How did God, in and through me, use me and my family and others around me? And if I'm honest, sometimes I've already forgotten. Maybe you can relate to that. I just forgot. Life happens, and the next thing happens. And if I'm totally honest, if I'm not intentional in remembering, God could show up in an incredible way. Maybe it was an answered prayer, or just he provided something unexpected. And if I'm really good, I'll remember for a couple days, maybe even a few weeks. But then when the next hurdle or next challenge or next life event happens, I quickly forget. Well, hey, my name is Chace Steeves. I'm one of the associate pastors at the Fallbrook campus. As we kick off our new year, I want to pause on this thing called altars of remembrance. You see, if you're like me and we forget, we're in really good company. All throughout the Old Testament, we see these altars of remembrance. From Abraham to Aaron to the starting of a generation, we see that people forget. It's why Jesus called, when a memorable moment happened, he told his people, plant an altar of remembrance here. Why? Because you're going to quickly forget. Why? Because the next thing's going to come up, and you're going to forget how I provided this way. Why? Because I want generation from now to see that I am faithful, that I walked you through the greatest storm, the greatest challenge, the impossible, and I was right there with you. It's why the word remember is used some 325 times in the Bible, because we quickly forget. Most of those are all attributes and reminders about God himself, not about humankind. We need to remember. So as we kick off 2025, my challenge is that maybe we need more altars of remembrance. We need something to wake us up from the heaviness that this world throws at us. We need something to wake us up from this apathy or this hopelessness or helplessness that we're feeling. We need something to wake us up from the heaviness of our hearts as we're walking through with people who are hurting or are being challenged. We need something to sing praise to Jesus. And I love Psalm 103 too, because it says, praise the Lord, my soul, and forget not all of his benefits. You see, when I'm really good, I remember that verse. And when the difficulties come, I'm praising the Lord because I've seen him show up before, and I know he's going to do it again. I lead a senior adult life group, and collectively with that group, there's 500 years of walking with Jesus in that circle. And when questions come up about, oh, this challenge is coming up, how are we going to walk through it? And because of their faithfulness and seeing God over and over again, they're like, God's going to get us through it. He's done it before. He's going to do it again. And we need to remember those things that God has done so we can walk through them with joy and singing. So as we step into a new year, take time to reflect on the blessings that God's given you. Take time to reflect on the situation that God's put you in and how God has shown up in your life. I think we need to pause. We need to remember those things. For some of you, that's journaling. That's spending today after you finish listening to this, just writing down some thoughts from last year. Some of you already do journal. You just need to flip through those pages and see where God's taken you and what he's led you through. Maybe for some of you, it's looking at your calendar and going month by month and week by week and the places you went, the people you were with, the things you did, and you need to remember. Some of you, it's chatting with a friend or a spouse and just verbally processing this past year. For me, it's going to be this practice, and I have a habit of starting things with great intentions and then failing at them. So I had to dust off this. It's called a 5-year journal. You can find them on Amazon. And what's really cool with this is it covers 5 years where you can just track the flows of life and where God's taking you, what he's done, and how he's provided. And you compare it to this time last year, and I get a really cool way of just seeing God's faithfulness because I want to remember. So doses, as we kick off a new year, let's look back before we look forward. Let's look back and thank God for what he's done and who he is and the people he's placed in our life, the things we've done, the places we've been, the stories we have. Let's look back before we look forward. And as we look forward, we can do that with singing songs of joy and praise because we know our God is faithful. Doses, I love you. Love spending time with you. We'll see you all next time.